This is how long it takes to shoot a 9 bracketed HDR 260 photo for a virtual tour with a full-frame professional mirrorless camera, the Sony Alpha 1 or the Sony A7R IV. This is Theta Z1 with dual fisheye plugins HDR, and this is Coolcam 8K's HDR. Yes, DSLR or mirrorless camera workflow is actually faster than one-shot camera. Can you believe that? Look at the image quality comparison. Zoom in and look closer. There's no doubt the Sony Alpha 1 HDR result is the best and also very fast. Most of the new virtual tour creators are afraid of the high dynamic range DSLR workflow because it looks complicated. I'm here to tell you it is not, especially when you have the right tool and the right knowledge. In this new professional HDR virtual tour series, I'm going to show you my workflow that does not require top and bottom zenith or nadir shot. Instead of taking 6 photos per location, you only need to maximize of 4. Most of the time, you only need 3 or even just 2 front and back photos to create a stunning 360 photo with magazine level quality, as you see right here. Will that be expensive? No. If you are already or planning to own a professional photo or video camera like a Sony Alpha 1, A7R IV, Canon R5, or Nikon Z7 Mark II, virtual tour should not be your only photo business, but it is the most profitable one for sure, especially after the pandemic. So investing in a real professional camera is a logical next step. The entry-level kit is less than $265 US compared to Theta Z1, which costs $1,000, and Coolcam 8K, which costs $600. In this episode, we are gonna go over which full-frame camera, why I choose Sony Alpha 1 instead of others, which lens to buy to cover the entire 260 in only 3 or even 2 shots, which is the best panel head in 2021, and how to set it up correctly. Then I will cover the basics of virtual tour shooting. Composition. Virtual tour composition is a topic no one's talked about, but it is extremely important for a good virtual tour experience. We will learn detailed camera setting for correct exposure and how to shoot auto bracketed HDR with incredible detail and sharpness. In the next episode, we will focus on photo processing and stitching. I promise the workflow is actually easier than any one-shot camera, since full frame in general capture better details and correct white balance already. We will learn how to prep your photos in Lightroom with my preset, which will be free as well, and an in-depth tutorial on PTGui 12 HDR. The third episode, we will focus on virtual tour hosting and software. We will use Teleport Me to host super large gigapixel 260 photo up to 100 megabits per second, and how to create an interactive 3D stereoscopic virtual tour with 3D Vista or KR panel. Yes, by the end of this series, you will become one of the best virtual tour photographers out there who can take on high-end commercial jobs, museum, and historical landmarks, or like me, gain thousands of likes on Facebook and become one of the well-recognized creators in space. I will share all my secret knowledge techniques completely free. So if you are new here, click the subscribe button and notification bell to stay up to date. If you already subscribed, make sure you get a cup of coffee or tea, and let's get started. Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Hugh here from Creator Up. First, let's talk about cameras. Which is the best DSLR or mirrorless camera to use in virtual tour in 2021. Since the pandemic, virtual tour become a very popular but competitive market for photographers out there. Having the latest high-spec professional camera is crucial to set you apart from the amateur. Clients know what camera you are using. Bring in an Insta 1X or Theta V onto a job, it's just not okay anymore. If you are in the market to upgrade, which camera should you consider? I choose the Sony Alpha 1 right here as my go-to camera for high-end job. My reason is simple. Sony Alpha 1 is not only one of the best pro-level photo camera, trusted by lots of professionals, but also can shoot 8K video. Besides offering photo-only virtual tours, I also offer high-end video virtual tour with paid actors and guided tours. Don't worry, I will teach you how to shoot Nodo 360 video with camera like the Sony Alpha 1, Canon R5 or the Red Kimono. Yes, you don't need a $5,000 VR camera to create 360 video. You can create 360 video with the same virtual tour camera and gear, saving you time and money. Ironically speaking, Sony Alpha 1 is probably the best mono 360 camera out there if you know what you are doing. More on that in the next tutorial. If you are only going to take 360 photo virtual tour, I actually will not suggest Sony Alpha 1. I know you are waiting for your boy to give you that excuse to buy the most expensive photo camera out there. Sorry to disappoint you. Sony A7R IV is a better photo camera for 360 virtual tour. There are two reasons: resolution and pricing. Sony Alpha 1 is $6,500 and max megapixel is 50.1. Sony A7R IV is only $2,800 and max megapixel is 62. Having higher megapixel can create larger final output 360 photo, which will provide slightly better details when you zoom in. But Alpha 1 is sharper than Sony A7R IV. So if your final virtual tour software or hosting solution limit your upload photos resolution, Alpha 1 is still a better choice because it provides sharper image in higher ISO. For 99% of the people out there, these two cameras are equally good, so the deciding factor is whether or not you are going to shoot video. To 360 video, you need minimum 8K resolution to compete with camera like the Insta360 Pro 2, Coolcam 8K, or the Insta360 Titan. What about Canon R5 or Nikon Z7? They are also excellent 360 photo camera. This workflow will be the same for this camera as well, so keep following along if you are a fan of Canon or Nikon. I love Canon R5, and if you are using a EF mount fisheye, I would suggest you to get the Canon R5 instead. Which fisheye lens to get? Lens choice is the key. It allows you to shoot 3 instead of 6 photos to get the full 360 photo. If you already know how to shoot 360 photo with DSLR, this is the part of the tutorial will improve your time on capture significantly. Why taking fewer photos are such a big deal? Well, think about it. We are taking HDR photo, 9 bracketed photo for 1 direction. So 6 direction, 0 degree, 90 degree, 180 degree, and 270 degree. Top for the ceiling and the bottom for the floor. Times 9 of them are 54 raw photo we are talking about. This sucks up your storage and time in stitching in post. Not to mention it will take you longer to finish in each location. So less is better. Most tutorials out there will recommend lenses like the Samyang 12mm f2.8. This is a great lens, very sharp and costs about $360. But it will require you to take 6 photos, or 5 if you don't care about your nadir. By the way, don't ignore your nadir shot. Lots of photographers are lazy and skip the nadir shot. In Creator Up, our selling point is to create a truly immersive experience for the viewer, including capturing the flaw. So, if you're on a budget, This will be the best fisheye lens for any full-frame camera, Meike AMM f3.5, which will cost only $160. This is a 360 panel shot with the Meike AMM with only 3 shots, and this is the Insta360 One X. Wow! This lens is surprisingly very sharp, and it is big enough to cover almost the entire full-frame sensor. If you shoot at 3.2 ratio with the Alpha one, the final photo is 14,000 by 7,000, almost 100 megapixel. Yes, you can get an even higher megapixel by shooting 6 photos with other lenses, but the quality increase is very marginal and not worth double the amount of work and processing power. Also, larger photos take a longer time to load on the internet, so the goal here is to achieve the best quality in the reasonable resolution. Well, can you shoot even fewer photos, like just 2 front and back? Yes, you can. Introducing King of Fisheye, Entaniya HAL series. From left to right, we have the HAL200 with 200-degree fisheye lens, HAL250 right here with 250 FOV, and the HAL220 PL mount that fit on an RE and Lexa, which is 220-degree FOV with edge-to-edge sharpness. These are cinematic lenses from $3,000 to $10,000 but these are the lenses you need if you want to capture 260 cinematic video. HAL200 will produce the best VR 180 video if you have 2 Sony Alpha 1 right here. This will be another tutorial, comment below if you want some sample. HAL200 also allows you to shoot only 2 instead of 3 photos with HDR. It is 18 instead of 27 photos. 2 lens setup only get you to 9K 260 photo instead of 13K, but 9K is still higher than any one-shot camera. HAL250 has another advantage. It is the easiest setup to stitch in post-production as the crazy amount of overlap between images. So having 250 can be a great option when the environment is really hard to stitch, but 250 wouldn't fit on your Nodo Ninja 6, so be aware. For me, the HAL250 is a must-have lens for 260 video. More on that in another tutorial. Panel head. Nodo Ninja 6 is probably the most popular one, but I think it is too big for a modern mirrorless camera like the Sony Alpha 1 or A7R IV. If you're really on a budget, pick the Never gimbal head. It is about $50 to $100 depend on where you buy it. The near panel head and the Meike lens are all you need to capture a stunning 360 photo. Compared to $1,000 on Theta Z1 or $600 on Coolcam 8K, which cannot be used on traditional photography, this is very affordable pricing. Personally speaking though, I will recommend spend a little bit more on the panel head. The one I use here is the Bushman KALAHARI V2. I love this panel head. It is smaller to get into tight space and it's foldable, so I can easily travel with it. If you take a lot of nature and outdoor 360 panel, you will appreciate the smaller size. As we are talking about taking commercial virtual tour, cover a large area is often necessary. Nodo Ninja 6 might require a second helper when you move your setup. Bushman, I can just easily do that all by myself. It is just so light and so easy to operate. Efficiency is everything in this industry. Another obvious reason is the nadir. Smaller panel head that can sit on a monopod instead of a tripod will be a lot easier to remove in post, which I will cover that in the next tutorial. Here I have the Bushman monopod right here. You can check out this build right here. The point is, lightweight, secure, and small footprint setup is what you want to go for if you want to work faster and achieve higher quality. My setup. Okay, you have your mirrorless camera like the Sony Alpha 1 right here, your fisheye lens, which is a Meike 8mm, and your panel head, the Bushman KALAHARI. Now, let's talk about setting it all up. I will suggest also investing a precision leveler like the tri-wheel leveling base right here. If you mess up your leveling, it is not a big deal. I will teach you a very easy way to fix it in post, but I will recommend you try to minimize post work and just nail your leveling before you shooting. A precision level head like this one right here is really great for that. Next, we have the Bushman Professional monopod and with weight at the base. You don't want to carry a sandbag, so get some weight at the base. It is heavier than a traditional tripod, but it is a lot more stable as we are taking HDR photo. Having a rock solid setup that will not move during capture is very important. You'll be surprised even a small amount of wind will mess up your panel if your system is not stable. Throw away your skinny tripod leg. That is not for virtual tour production. I will also suggest some fresh gear. You can add fresh when shooting with DSLR, but let me say that part on another tutorial. I know that is why you subscribe on Career Up if you want to learn everything. Setting up panel head is very easy. The most important part is finding your no parallax point. Here is how. So now I'm gonna teach you how to quickly set up the Bushman right here, and then also how to find the no parallax point. So the Bushman is really easy. First, like put it on top of the precision level head. Just tie this thing in, and just stand this up and lock it. We don't need to be precise. We just need to lock it right now. Just get it up. And that's ready to go. So now the most important part is we need to find the no parallax point of the camera. So go ahead and grab the camera right here. See right here, it's already attached to the lens. So I'm gonna put the camera, let's just turn it this way. Untie this knob so you can turn it easily, right there. And actually, one of Bushman have a quick release plate right here. Just get it out and go ahead and lock it to the camera base. So this is a quick release plate. Hopefully you see right here. So we always try to like attach it against the camera edges, so we know the position. So next time we really put the camera on, we know where to position the camera faster. So that is a tip for you guys. So go ahead and mount this. I like to mount it this way. Mount it like right here. Before we set the no parallax point, we're gonna make sure that the camera is in the center of the panel head. So go ahead and turn it right like that, like so. Hopefully you see from here. I turn the grid on the camera, and obviously the camera is not in the centers. So if you can't see it, I'll put the go-to right here. As you see right here, I have the grid line right here. And actually from the exposure up, you can see better. You see the grid line right here. I'm trying to align the grid line to the center of the arrow right here. You see right here? So that will correctly align the camera in the center of the Bushman. So just need to move it a little bit back. Right here. Okay, that's a good point. So lock it in, and then you can adjust the stop right here to make sure that this is the location that we remember. And now let's go ahead and find a no parallax point. So stand up the camera to 90 degrees right here. Okay, now we need to find out the no parallax point. It's actually also very easy. So go ahead and turn the camera on.
Nope.
So I would point. So see that? You go over here. I have this monopod, but you can also use a light stand. You just need to be a vertical stick. I want this stick to align with the window of this vertical line right here, and you can find any vertical line in the property you're filming. So we try to physically align them first to the camera. So point the camera there, and you can double tap right here. Hopefully you see it right here. Double tap right in and tap again. You see that the monopod is already perfectly aligned with that vertical line right there. And that's, if you're not, you can physically move this to a location that in the center frame, right now, it's perfectly aligned vertically with the back line. So now, if I turn the camera like this direction, and then you pan it right here, and see that it's not aligned anymore, and the back of the vertical line go onto the right side. So we try to realign them, like right there. Basically unloose the knot right here and pull the camera back, and now it's aligned. Now we're back to the center point. Look at that. It's still aligned. Now go the other direction. Go look at that. It's 8 times zoom in. Okay, so not aligned. So we're just trying to move it a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. Lock it. Now it's aligned, right? You can go even further. You can pan the camera. Still aligned. Back here. Look at that thing. Still aligned. Hopefully you see from my camera right here. Yes. And then back to the center point. Still aligned. Go on this side. Pan it. Still aligned. So that is my no parallax point. And so now you can reset the camera to the center location, and now we are ready to shoot our first virtual tour. Compositions. Just like any photography, composition is the most important thing, no matter what camera you use. Ironically speaking, no one seems to talk about it. I can go all day about this topic, and I should make a course on here to dive deeper. To save you time though, I want you to remember only 2 things: camera placement and initial camera position. So, where should you place your 360 camera?
Hugh, I know. You place the camera in the center of the room, just like a tiny planet photo. You want that symmetry.
Wrong! That is probably the most common mistake all newcomers make. If you are taking a creative photo, yes, symmetry sounds great, but you are not. You are taking a realistic virtual tour photo for your clients. The goal is to sell the property. And what sell in realistic? Space sells. Placing the camera in the middle of the room makes the space look smaller than it is in real life. Also, your FOV is narrower and fewer things are included in the opening frame. You have to consider some people will never interact with your 360 photo. You want to give them as much information as you want them to see and make the room look bigger. So, instead of placing the camera in the middle of the room, you place it couple steps from the entries and facing the camera to the most feature-rich area, like this right here. By placing the camera near the doorway or stair serves another practical purpose for virtual tour: navigation. You need to put hotspot to invite people to jump into the next room. Viewers tend to continue the navigation when they can see the exits clearly. The initial camera spot is important for DSLR virtual tour. The center of the lens is going to be sharper than the edge of the lens, unless you are using Entaniya HAL 200 and 220, the $3,000 lens right here, which has edge-to-edge sharpness. For the rest of the cheap fisheye lens, you want to put the most important feature in the center of your lens. Also, if you have window like this one, make sure to put the window in the center as well. This will help HDR stitching in post, which I will explain in the next tutorial. Camera settings. I will use Sony Alpha 1 as an example here, but all other cameras will follow the same rule for bracketed HDR photography. Go without saying, make sure you are capture raw photo in the highest resolution of your camera sensor. The aspect ratio of Sony Alpha 1 is 3:2, which gives the largest sensor coverage using any fisheye lens. If you are using 200-degree fisheye lens like the HAL200 right here, you can go for 1:1 to save you some storage space. Next is shutter. You want the shutter does not cause camera vibration and very fast speed, so you are not waiting around for a nice HDR photo to be taken. If your camera has electronic shutter, use that. For Sony Alpha 1, it is under camera, shutter silence, shutter type, electronic shutter. Here is a speed comparison between electronic shutter and the mechanic shutter. As you see, electronic shutter is faster and you wouldn't feel the camera vibration shaking at all. I have to say, having a silent, vibration-free electronic shutter with no blackout, faster sensor readout is another big reason I use Alpha 1 right here. This is a professional feature that an old DSLR wouldn't have, and if your DSLR cannot take sharp HDR, then Ricoh Theta Z1 is a lot better camera. I make another video to compare Theta Z1 with DSLR. You can check it out right here. And you can tell the Z1 is powerful and definitely better than a non-HDR DSLR. Having no blackout compared to Sony A7R IV is another advantage. It gives you visual confirmation that you capture everything you need so you can move on faster. It takes the guessing game out and let you shoot with confidence. In image stabilization, steady shot, you turn it off. Go back to drive mode, continue shooting speed, hit E shutter, 20 images per second, bracket setting, bracket type, continue bracketing and set your stop. I usually use 0.3 to 0.5 EV 9 images. If you are lazy, you can use 3 images, so only generate 9 images in total of 3 directions. But I would recommend stick to 9 images, which give you the best low noise result. Cell timer during bracketing is 2 seconds. This is to avoid vibration if you don't have the trigger release. For beginners though, I will recommend 5 seconds until you are really comfortable with shooting with HDR. Then you can go for 2 seconds. Bracket order is from minor to 0 to plus. 360 photography does not really use the EVF, so it is annoying the LCD turn off whenever my hand is around the EVF. So I go into custom, find the monitor, select find the monitor, choose monitor to menu. So now my LCD stay on. Okay, that is all you need to set up your Sony Alpha 1 for 360 photography. If you need a tutorial on other brands like the Canon R5 or Nikon Z7 Mark II, drop me a comment down below. Shooting HDR Virtual Tours. So all panel head has this knob. It helps you to set the stop point correctly and precisely. For Bushman to get full shot, you divide your 360 sphere into a part. So put the knob right here. Then you just turn panel head every 2 clicks to take a photo. For 3 shot, you can also divide your 360 sphere into a part, 45 degrees per part, and you shoot in 0 degree, 135 degrees, and 225 degrees. For a more even result though, you should set the knob to 15, so you can divide 260 degree into 0 degree, 120 degree, and 240 degree. So you turn 5 clicks per shot. I actually like not even shot using a part as I can turn faster and capture the panel faster. To me, it's all about efficiency. But if you are not comfortable stitching uneven panel or you do not use PTGui, then you should just stick to 15 part. That is really a personal preference, both work for me. Check your focus. This is another big mistake beginners make. Not like Entaniya or Izuka professional VR fisheye lens, most fisheye has adjustable focus distance. And often than not, you will accidentally change your focus in between shots. So every time before you shoot, make sure your focus is at infinite right here. If not, you will have a really blurry image. Important, please write this down. Set correct exposure and white balance. For white balance, if you are shooting exterior, I will lock the white balance to 5500 Kelvin. But for interior virtual tour, I will set the white balance to auto as we have mixed lighting. Don't worry, Sony Alpha 1 or the A7R IV has a really great auto white balance. Later on, I will teach you how to use flash photography for 360 virtual tour. This will be even better to nail the white balance. Exposure, go without saying, is the most important setting. First thing is to make sure your camera dial is in full manual mode. Right here. Not P or A or auto, but M. We need to have the exact same exposure for all three directions. For Alpha 1, I set the ISO to 400 or 320 and aperture to 11. So one thing about fisheye lens is it gets really blurry if your aperture is wide open like in 3.5. So I usually use f8 or f11. I prefer f11 on the Meike lens, it gives me the sharpest image. So now bring up your histogram, hit display right here until you see it. Make sure the second peak is in the middle or to the right. Or you can judge with this number to make sure it is in 0 for a perfectly exposed image. For 360 photography, you will often find one part of the image is very bright, especially the part that is near a big window like right here. The other part of the image is really dark as there are no window or light. HDR photography can solve this problem, but to minimize noise, you want to expose to the darkest part of the room. In a general virtual tour scenario, you're always facing the challenging with a room like this one, as you see right here, with a lot of window. So this side of the room is really bright, right? And then if you go over here, if a room like this side, you see that there's not more window. I close the window over there. So this side of the room is actually really dark. So we need to set the exposure to the dark side of the room. So that's how I do it. If you see the exposure right here, let me get it out and you see it right there. You see that this room is overexposed on this side, but if you turn it into 90 degrees on this side, so here is perfectly exposed. So my goal here is make sure the dark side of the room is perfectly exposed, and then histogram here is right in the center. You can drop it a little bit. Again, I'm dropping the, as you see, I'm dropping the shutter speed to try to align, make sure that right here the is right in the 0, and also the ISO, not the ISO, the histogram right here in right in the middle, and here this whole scene right now is perfectly exposed to the dark side of the room. But now I will turn the camera back on the other side because I still want to see the gray side of the window. So now we are ready to shoot the virtual tour. First, I will slap a picture of my hand in front of the lens, like right there. And now I know that I'm in a new location because when I see my hand in pose, there's a brand new location. So first thing is make sure that in your dry mode, turn all the way to BRK, meaning bracket right here. And then in your 0 location, make sure the 0 is right here. Go ahead and snap a photo. Let's go ahead, as you see, really fast. We are in an electronic shutter, so it's really fast. We already take night image. Now, in front of the second location, which is 5 click. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we are in a 120 degree. Go ahead and snap another picture. And then we are done, as you see right here. And then now, to snap the third location, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 240. Go ahead and snap. Okay, we're done. We are shooting RAW with 27 images per location. There will be a lot of photos to transfer into your computer. Sony Alpha 1 used the latest Sony CF card, which has 1700 megabits per second transfer speed. It will save you lots of transfer time. It does require a special card reader. If you do not have that, Alpha 1 also onboard the latest USB-C 3.2 port. Just plug the camera directly onto your computer USB-C port, then you are good to go. Next episode. Wow, that is a lot of information to take in. I know, it is a master class. I just offer that to you for free. While before COVID, people paid thousands of dollars to attend my virtual tour workshop in person. So, if you appreciate my effort to move the industry to a higher standard, offer better and free education to train the virtual tour industry, give me a thumb up and share this video to others. The next episode is very important and you don't want to skip it. We will talk about from start to finish how to edit and stitch your professional HDR virtual tour with Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Photoshop, or Affinity Photo if you hate Adobe subscription. And we will dive deep into PTGui for HDR stitching. We will also mention Photomatic, which is the best HDR merging software that is 360 aware with no stitch line, but that is optional. You will see how easy it is to combine these two correctly, set up preset and template, and create high quality virtual tour with incredible speed that really wow your clients. If you are new here and want to become the top 1% photographers in the virtual tour industry, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I have tutorials constantly on this channel to make sure you have the latest techniques, best practices, and to stay ahead in the professional virtual tour industry. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook 360 to check out some of my personal work. I walk my talk. If you want the same amount of like and shares working with the top tier client, the next tutorial on PTGui, don't want to miss that. And I will see you there. Maya Angelou famously said, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel." The ability to make your audience feel love or hate, joy or despair, fear or enjoyment had never been more at our fingertips than now with virtual reality 360 storytelling. If you have ever wondered how to make a film, documentary or fictional piece using this new medium that creates an emotional impact, a feeling that they will never forget, then please come join me as it is my mission to give you this power to touch, to inspire, and to create. In this 360 VR filmmaking masterclass, we will give you a framework to work from as a storyteller or filmmakers using your familiar language. No matter what your skill level is in immersive production, you can take away a wealth of knowledge from some of the world's leading experts in the field. We will cover practical topics like fundraising, client communication, budgeting, scripting and storyboarding, directing, blogging, set and space design, camera and shooting, lighting, spatial audio, DIT, stitching and editing, and even distribution in the entire VR filmmaking ecosystem. I hope this course will serve as your go-to guide on VR filmmaking, so you can go out there and create. No matter if you are a VR producer, director, camera operator, or VR enthusiast.